Welcome back to Biz Today. We are speaking with our success story of the week, Nkosenhle Hlophe. He is the founder of Kinako Multimedia. They've done award-winning work, produced DSTV programming, am I right in saying that?
Yes.
And also been part of an incubator program across 3 years. And I'm interested in talking to you about. You've been part of the Race Corp incubator program. I know Race Corp very well. We've had Alan Reyes on the show. So it's going to be cool to talk to you about that particular part. When did that journey happen?
All right. So that's. I think I joined Race Corp. I joined Race Corp in 2013, September 2013.
This was now after how many years of starting?
After that was my 4th year in business.
Okay.
Roughly, 4th year of business.
What made you decide to go and join the program? Not that we're advocating Race Corp, but any kind of incubator program. What would make a person go and join?
You know, the email that I sent to Race Corp when I joined, when I applied. So I had done business for about 3 years, and I've seen failures, I've seen successes, and I was sort of stuck to say, how do I do this thing? It was moving, but not at the pace that I wanted to. So I was aware that I need something, not necessarily money, but I was aware that I need either someone or something that is going to sort of push me towards the right direction. And then a friend of mine, Umla, was in the program. Then he told me about it, but obviously I just ignored it. And then one day, Kuge and I were traveling from Marisbeck, and Alan Reyes was on DJ's Boo's show on Metro, and he was speaking about this thing, and he spoke exactly to what I was faced at that time. And that Monday morning, I sent an email to Race Corp. I was like, I had the interview, and I just shared my story a bit to say, this is what I've done on my own, this is where I want to go, so I need something that's going to bridge that gap for me. Mm-hmm. And within minutes, like literally minutes, they responded, and then I had an interview at their Devon offices, and I went there and I got in. And apparently it is very difficult, not apparently, it is very difficult to get to Race Corp. Yeah, I think at that time when I got in, I think they would take 1 in 50. I'm not sure about the numbers, but because there's a psychometric test, there's interviews, there's panel interviews. So I got in, and that's been like one of my highlights in my business journey, because sometimes we think we can do it on our own, but mentorship is important. It has changed the way I do business. It has changed the way I view business. And the nice thing about Race Corp, while we're talking about it, is they call themselves guides, not mentors. Mm-hmm. So they guide you. So you go into, when you go on your one-on-one, you sit with someone who's got so much experience in business, who has failed, some of them, and who are running their own businesses, some of them, and they don't tell you what to do. They ask you all the right questions. It's sort of a guidance. So they channel you, so you do all the work. Because sometimes some people think, I'm going to Race Corp, they're going to help me run my business. No,
of course, you got to put in the work.
No, you got to put in the work. You do the 99, they do just the 1% just to guide you. So they ask you, so have you done this? Why? What about this? And their program is so well structured that at first year I had a personal guide. So there was someone who's just speaking to me as a person.
Sure.
And that's something that as entrepreneurs sometimes we just take for granted. To say, just tell me how to do money. Just tell me how to run a business. Don't speak about emotions, So I had this, one of the guides, a very brilliant guide who came. She was my personal guide. So there is someone who's just taking care of your family life, your personal life. Are you fine? As a business person running this ship, are you okay? Because if you're not okay as a individually, personally, then you can't run a successful business.
I love that you brought that point up, which is because it leads to my next question is, and so many entrepreneurs have this, and I'm asking also as an entrepreneur myself, is how do you manage your emotions? Because you are the business initially, and your business will become whatever you are and you put into it. How did the Race Corp program help you to manage that?
It did very well, and I'm still learning. It's what they did was just to make me aware of my emotions, just to make me aware of my weaknesses, just to make me aware of my strengths.
So awareness is important, right?
Awareness is very important. Self-awareness is very important, because you as an entrepreneur, you are exposed to so many things, to so many people, to so many circumstances, which will change. Your emotions can change from pillar to post in an hour. What I used to do back then when I started my business is when I had a complaint, when I had someone who's complaining about a service, or when something didn't go right, I would just shut down like everything. I would just be so depressed that maybe I'm not doing it right, maybe it's not going to be successful, and I would waste, if I have that type of a bad call, sometimes you get a bad call at 10 a.m. that for me,
would
day
ruin
was
your
done.
whole day.
Yeah, my day was done. And they took us through those to say, why are you like that? How can you respond better in such circumstances? And now, good call or bad call, I soldier on, because they made me aware. They taught me to understand myself and my emotions, and just to understand myself as a person, to say how, and also to be deliberate on how I respond to circumstances, how I respond to calls, how I respond to emails, how I respond to people, basically. So I think for me, being a better person helped me to run a successful business.
Makes 100% sense, because that's, I think, at the heart, at the beginning of your business. There are a lot of strong individuals, but we are human beings, and emotions will come at you, like you say. You changes very, very frequently because of the nature of what you are doing. You're building something, and the uncertainty and risk is always there. So you'd never know whether it would work or not, and you put your heart and soul into it. And naturally, you would be torn apart.
Yes, and it's very important to understand yourself at an early stage, because I'm building an empire. I know it's going to grow so big,
right.
And so I need, while I can still contain it, I need to understand myself, I need to be able to respond to everything that is happening now that it's still within reach, because in a couple of years it's going to be so big. So I need to be strong. I need to be ready for that.
Exactly.
It also prepares you in even the type of people that you employ. Because at some stage you hire people that are same age as you or older than you, smarter people than you, people more educated, more experienced than you, and if you are not strong as a person, you might not treat those people right. You might lose some resources in terms of personnel, because you're not treating people right, because sometimes you're not confident. I don't know how to term this, but it takes something to deal with people that are smarter than you, that are more educated than you, and those are the people that you need as an entrepreneur. So that level of confidence, that level of maturity to deal with those people, it all stems from self-awareness, to know that I'm comfortable with what I can do. I'm not a videographer, but I will hire the best videographer.
Because you have the vision of what you're building.
Exactly. And
so I love that point that you made, because it's so true what you say. If you have the grit and resolve in believing completely in your vision, and have the self-awareness to feel that the people who are smarter than you will run this business. I just help to move the ship along and inspire them. I'm sure that's what you're doing in your business.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. That's another strategy of entrepreneurs. Between being an entrepreneur and a technician. That's one of the things that even today we struggle to do. So I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. I'm trying to be a business developer, get people, smart people, competent people, experienced people to run the business.
Exactly.
So it also, being an entrepreneur, like it or not, it takes a lot of leadership skills. You need to be a great leader. If you're not, you need to work on it. It's something that I'm working on every day. It also changes with the type of people, not changes, but also challenged by the type of people that you work with.
Right.
They are easy people to work with. They are more difficult people to work with. I work with creative people, so you can imagine.
Yes, I am one of them, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. So yeah, I have to comment on graphics, effects, something that I really don't have a full understanding of, but I have to comment on it. And it's very important how you approach someone, how you tell someone to say it's not working. But they believe, I worked the whole month on this video. You can't tell me it's not working, but it's not working. So that relationship, that level, that leadership style is very important, that as an entrepreneur, you build, you understand what type of leader you are, and then so that you can be able to identify your weaknesses, and then you get support.
How big is Kinako Multimedia right now?
How big is Kinako Multimedia right now? I think we're growing every month. I think we're growing every
in terms of just
year.
Resources. So if you came to the company, just to give viewers a sense of where your company is and where you're going with it, how big it's going to be.
So currently we operate in 2 provinces. We've got an office in Durban, and we recently opened an office in
Yes, I know.
Durban.
I heard about that.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Yeah, but we work all over. We get a lot of national projects. Then we travel to all corners of South Africa. Cape Town, PE, we travel a lot. We've got 6 full-time employees, Monday to Friday, and we've got about 8 freelancers or part-time that come, because we do a lot of weekend work. So some of the guys I don't need on a
All the
Monday to Friday, so they would come just for the weekend. So yeah, and we've got some equipment. We'd love to own more, but I think we are in a better place than we were last month and the month before. And as to where we're going, we really have a target or a plan to be one of the biggest ad agencies in the country. Because as I said, what we are focusing on now is to be the best marketing video production company in the country. So we want, when you think of a marketing video or a corporate video, you just think Nkosenhle multimedia. Yes. So we're growing our brand in such a way that big established companies will want to be associated with our brand. That's our mission right now. So everything that we do on a Monday to Friday, that is our vision, to say how can we make ourselves be the best profile corporate video production company that the biggest of the clients in the country would want to be associated with Nkosenhle.
I think you're going to have absolute success because you have so much of clarity on exactly what it is you are doing and who you serve. And so that already in itself is success, because that's what you're doing, you're focusing on that, and people think that key term, and one of our guests will come and we'll talk to in an upcoming show, talks about Google AdWords particularly. So he's going to talk to us about key terms. And I mean, that's exactly it. We live online these days. So
yes.
If people think corporate marketing, advertising, video, whatever they think in terms of that space, they'll think Nkosenhle multimedia. While we wrap up this amazing profile, look at your life, because you're such an inspiring entrepreneur. You went with it and you said, I'm going to do this. And you talk with confidence about the empire you will build. What is your driving force every day to build this empire?
I don't know if this will make sense, but what the main thing is, as I've said before, it's the vision. I've got a clear picture of where I'm going. I look at other companies, I'm like, that's where we're going, that's who we want to take over, that's who we want to compete with next year. And so that's just the one thing, because that's just the one thing that's really driving me. But I've also got this sense of greatness, that we were meant to be great. I've got that authority to say, I've got that feeling that I'm meant for something greater. And so I live every day of my life just chasing that thing. So, and it keeps me going no matter what happens, but I've got that drive to say, you're not there yet, but you are going to get there. So whatever happens, I've got that energy just to keep kicking, just to keep going. So I think it's just an understanding that I'm meant for something greater, and just pushing towards it. I
think we are kindred spirits. I feel that completely. Nkosenhle, it was such a pleasure having you in studio on Biz Today. Thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I like the way you handled it.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. So what did you take away from Nkosenhle's interview? What I took away was being a great leader and understanding that you need people who are smarter than you around you in your team, and having the maturity and the confidence to lead them is what will help you lead a successful business. If you want any more details on Nkosenhle Multimedia, it's up on screen. You can get in touch with them. They operate countrywide. Also, just a little note from our side, find us on Facebook and Twitter. BizToday_ZA on Twitter, BizToday on Facebook. And as always, you can email me, naz@sociallyacceptable.co.za, with any suggestions for upcoming shows. Until next week, goodbye.